Hello all, and Happy New Year. It's my first new video of 2025. As most of you know, I like to sort of troll online streaming services, mainly Tubi, for weird, unusual, bizarre movies that nobody's ever heard of, or at least I haven't. And this is definitely one. This 2024 is What Lurks Beneath. I uploaded it because it looked like it had kind of a Lovecraftian sort of Shadow over Innsmouth feel about it, and in fact it does, but not in the way I expected. It's actually quite good. It's an independent film. 2024 is directed by someone named Jamie Bailey, and I don't know if that's a male or a female, but it's a submarine movie, and it's a submarine thriller, but it's unlike any other submarine thriller I've ever seen. And unlike a lot of movies, this is kind of interesting. It's not post-apocalypse. Doesn't take place during the apocalypse. It takes place right before an apocalypse is about to take place. There's apparently been a war with Russia and the rest of the world, primarily the United States, but also England and Europe. And there have been some nuclear attacks, apparently, on cities by Russia. There has been, as yet, no retaliation from the other forces. This takes place aboard a submarine called the USS Titan. Small parenthetical note, the starship that William Riker was eventually the captain of was called the USS Titan. So I think that's a little bit of a joke by the director. Anyway, it's apparently the last nuclear ballistic missile sub left in the U.S. fleet. All the others have been found and destroyed by Russian hunter-killer submarines. They are the only ones left capable of delivering a nuclear strike. They receive a message from Washington telling them to stand by, and it gives them a set of coordinates. They check the coordinates with their authentication equipment and find that the message is correct, and so they set the targets. And then some strange things start to happen. They discover a mysterious woman played by a very beautiful blonde lady named Deka Reilley, who is hiding in one of their torpedo tubes. And nobody knows who she is. She doesn't appear to speak any English. She doesn't appear to be able to speak at all. And the captain, played by a guy named Giesen, thinks she is a Russian spy, basically, who has come aboard to learn their secrets. And they send her to the sick bay, first of all, but they also put her kind of in detention. She's being watched by one of the other female officers named Justine, and she's played by Carolyn Binette, again, very good-looking woman. And she's also, I believe, the XO of the ship. And she's watching over her. She gives her some water, which is the only thing she'll take. She won't take any food. All she'll take is water. But she seems to want a lot of water. Apparently some of these people on this ship are not very sharp observers, because nobody notices that she has gills in both her in her neck at all. They don't seem to notice that. But we, the audience, get to see. Maybe it's because, again, she has apparently some sort of telepathic sense. She can communicate with the crew. They can't actually hear her except inside their own heads. And she's like telling the women on the crew, this is a men's war. You don't need to fight this war. You should fight against them. There's no reason for you to die. And it's trying to kind of turn them against the male members of the crew, which is sort of an odd thing. In fact, there's a point where one of the other characters, a very beautiful woman named Anna Gomez, played by Sienna Star, says, "I'm getting a definite lesbian vibe off you." Well, the whole thing has kind of a lesbian vibe, but it's very creepy too. It's not. This woman is apparently a mermaid, but she's not a Ariel, Daryl Hannah kind of mermaid. She's more like the mermaid in Curtis Harrington's Night Tide, who was kind of a horror rather than something that you would be attracted to. She's more like a siren, and again, that's what she is, really. She's not a mermaid, she's a siren. And there are two British intelligence officers aboard this ship. They don't really explain that or why they're doing there, but they are concealing information from the Americans. and they are played by Michael Swanton plays the head of the British intelligence guys, and then the other one is played by Simon Phillips, and they are concealing something. They've received a secret communication. We see them receive the communication on their laptop, but we don't see what it is. And then another message comes in from this general who gave them the original targeting order, and they've changed the targets now. They've said that the original targets that they gave them were incorrect, and they told them there's basically only one chance. They're the last sub left. They have one chance to launch these rockets and stop a larger nuclear war from breaking out. Well, they're getting ready to do this, and strange things start happening. The ship loses power all of a sudden and is forced to submerge and to crash basically onto the seabed. They have emergency power, but that's it. And they do have the option that they can do an emergency blow. They can blow all the ballast tanks and they'll rise to the surface. But the captain doesn't want to do that unless they absolutely have to. Then the two engineers who are trying to repair the electrical system just vanish mysteriously, and nobody knows what happened. A third engineer is attracted to this woman who they only refer to as her. She's never given a name, and she never says what her name is. One of the British intelligence officers indicates that he knows who and what she is. He says, we've found these people down here before, and we know what you are, and usually, you leave us alone, we leave you alone. Well, that's kind of their deal. But now that's changed. And the third person who's sent to try to fix the electrical system is basically eaten by this woman who she tries to seduce him. She knows that he's attracted to her physically, and so she strips naked and kind of gives him a come hither signal, and then she bites him in the neck and stabs him in the neck with her fingernails, which are like daggers. It's really kind of a gory scene there, which kind of freaked me out a bit. But then he's vanishes mysteriously. Nobody knows what happened to him, and she later says that to one of the girls that she ate him, which I thought was kind of bizarre. And again, gives a much more horrific slant to this quote-unquote mermaid, who is really more something of a, as the British called her, they said, we found these things down here, they're monsters. She really is a monster. She's not this gentle kind of mermaid. She's some kind of hideous undersea thing that doesn't want her realm disturbed by this nuclear war. So it comes down to a final draw, which I won't spoil for anybody because there's a very interesting twist sort of at the end. But a couple of things to note. One, although it's a good movie, the special effects are not, the external special effects, I should say, are not terrific. The submarine shots are obviously a very small model, shot in like a fish tank or something. But the internal sets are terrific. It really feels like a very good, like a cramped, tiny submarine where it's very hard to get around. The equipment is somewhat minimal, and that does have a sort of an advanced feel as well with the computer displays and things. Some of which are holographic, and I thought that was kind of interesting and well done. Obviously there was a larger model too, which is actually pretty good, where they show the catch covers blowing off to launch the missiles. That looked realistic, I thought. Looked pretty good. Again, I won't spoil what happens in the end. Just it's a weird, bizarre, very well acted, very well directed, very well shot, and photographed, choreographed, and edited. The soundtrack is tense, and there is a very strange ending, which I will not spoil. So you can see it on Tubi for free. Again, What Lurks Beneath. Enjoy.